Hello, people of the outside world. It is day 3 of quarantine / social distancing at Theo and Harris. We're already a little crazy. I bought myself a piano. Definitely gonna run out of soap. We wanted to share with you guys in this time of weird distancing and kind of loneliness for a lot of people, our favorite videos that we've ever made, optimal for binging. Whether you are cooking, cleaning, avoiding work, or just looking for quality content on some of your favorite subjects, look no further. We've put it all in one place, up there, down below, or the top playlist currently listed on our channel. Hashtag QuarantineH is here for you. So please enjoy this video and then afterwards start binging. Check it out.
The appeal of Rolex knows no bounds. It's the only watch that you can trade for a flight home from anywhere in the world. Boom, watch fam. What is up, watch fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris watch shop. And today, I'm going to be giving you all a glimpse into Rolex's past to give you a better understanding through some of their most famous and revered models of really what makes them the best watch brand of all time. Here's a great place to start, the bedrock of the Rolex catalog. And we have two, both reference 5513s and both new additions into the watch shop at theoandharris.com. The 5513 is a no-date Submariner, which was manufactured from 1962 into 1989, and it's become a legend in the market. Let's start with this one. It left the factory in 1973 with this just spectacular matte dial. Its bezel, which was originally black, has faded to this stunning, even navy blue, which complements the custard tritium that fills its plots and hands. Its oyster case is fantastic too. Its wide bevels, a trademark of vintage Rolex sport models, are still fully visible, and that is huge for this model. Now let's take a look at this one. Same reference, 5513, but this one was manufactured in 1984. It features a glossy dial, which is no doubt more modern, but its tritium plots hands and even pearl have developed just out of this world patina, maybe even more custard, more saturated than its predecessor. Both pieces perfectly represent very different periods in the history of one of the most famous no-date sub-references. And both are in just great condition, complete with, and this is one of my favorite elements, original domed acrylic, just super vintage look. Here's what I find most interesting about these watches, which really jumps out when you have them side by side. The glossy 5513 is a more luxurious Rolex. It marked the beginning of the brand's transition from strict tool watches into the world of luxury. Before Submariners like this, the model line was just not meant to be luxurious. Now, that doesn't mean that Rolex was a stranger to the luxury game. The brand had been producing enviable precious metal, luxury pieces for decades. Take a look at this watch, a reference 1011, a Bombay. This piece is actually the newest addition to my personal collection. And that's because, one, it's just outright beautiful. It's rich, top to bottom, from its, coin-edged bezel and arrowhead markers to its fancy twisted lugs. Its details are luxurious. And it comes from a time before Rolex made the entire line luxurious. These were the watches that were meant to inspire envy from across the room. I've paired mine with a Brooks Brothers single pass NATO strap, which is definitely undersized and an acquired taste. Our next watch is another great example of Rolex's transition into the luxury space. While conventional knowledge tells us that sports oyster cases got supersized in the mid-2000s with the Submariner, it's actually incorrect. The first supersized, while very sporty, a little bit flashier, a little bit blingier in a way, sports oyster was this, the Fat Lady, the Sophie Loren, the GMT-Master 2, reference 16760. I'm always on the hunt for a great GMT to stock in the Theo and Harris shop, but it's rare that I'm able to come across a Rolex GMT Fat Lady as good as this one. This example was manufactured in 1987. The condition is terrific. I love the faded Coke bezel. This reference was actually the first reference to feature the Coke bezel. And again, we could admire the chamfers, also called lugs, on this model. The case is just so well cut, and the bezel rotation just sounds so good. But back to this idea of supersized. If I put this watch in front of the average vintage watch geek, they might not notice that it's actually quite a bit larger, thicker, heavier, even down to the crown guards than most vintage GMTs. But if you would have them side by side, as we have many times before, the difference is night and day. And now, fast forward until today, one of the big trademarks of the Oyster case, and many people hope that it is sized down in the coming years, is its very beefy, substantial, while sporty, still kind of blingy size and dimension. So while this reference is rare and was discontinued after a short run, it still does remain the first supersized oyster, representing another incredibly important moment in Rolex's evolution into luxury. Now let's finish off with something not only rare and absolutely beautiful, but really interesting and classy. This is another benchmark of the Rolex catalog. It's Datejust, but it's not just any Datejust. This is a reference 16014, which makes it a quick set Datejust. It dates to 1988, and its dial, which is finished in a tapestry pattern, was originally silver, but probably because of some defective coating, it's developed an incredible salmon, very even patina. It's absolutely stunning. I've never seen anything like this. I'm calling it salmon corduroy because it looks a hell of a lot like salmon corduroy, and it's definitely one of the most special pieces in the Theo and Harris watch shop. Sure, most of Rolex's history can be told through their sports models, like the important ones that we have here. But it'd be insane to ignore the importance of these other models, like the Datejust and like this little old Bombay Oyster Perpetual, and how much of an influence they've had on not just the world, but Rolex's catalog. Remember, long before all of the sports oysters were status symbols, long before they were rich, these were the watches that held down that fort, that identity of luxury at the brand. And at least for me, they are some of the best models. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed any of these watches, go ahead and take a look at them in the Theo and Harris watch shop. I had a blast handpicking each and every one of them, and I hope that you enjoy looking at them. See you guys soon. People's mouths around the Daytona. It doesn't matter to me. Still, the fact remains, while I probably won't be buying one, it's impossible to ignore how cool the ceramic Daytona is. From the Daytona, Demian went back into Tudor for a special release that Tudor did with his authorized dealer, the authorized dealer that had gone far out of their